Let's bring in Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell, who's on the Judiciary and Intelligence Committees. And, of course, back with me are Sam Stein and Jonathan Swan as well. Congressman, thank you so much for coming in tonight. Of course. Can you explain, put in context why this is happening, what is going on, and in your view, this seems to be just a distraction from the Russia issue at hand. What do you know behind the scenes on Capitol Hill?
Well, it looks like you see actors of Jeff Sessions and others at the Department of Justice who are bending to the president's campaign promises by investigating Hillary Clinton, reopening the Uranium One questions that were put to bed and no evidence was ever shown. Now, it's not clear on the Clinton Foundation investigation what is driving that. If it's, facts on the ground, then that's fine. They should, investigate it. But if it's because the president or Jeff Sessions has asked them to do that, that's wrong. And I think Jeff Sessions should come to our committee, the Judiciary Committee, and answer questions about, just what exactly is driving these investigations.
The chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes, has been pushing the DOJ for documents, testimony around issues that are not entirely in the public eye, but that are related somewhat to this, also to some other questions. Is the information that Nunes and he and the House Speaker came to an agreement with Rod Rosenstein, who came in to meet with Ryan at the Capitol, I guess it was last week, and they came to an agreement to give you some of this information. Is that information that they are sharing with Democrats on the committee? Do you know what you're going to see?
We're going to find out about that tomorrow when we return to the Hill. I think we should see it. What's interesting is that Chairman Nunes's interest in this case is about what and how the dossier was prepared, who paid for it, and whether it was used by the FBI. He's not concerned at all about what was alleged in the dossier, that Donald Trump had been banked by the Russians, that Donald Trump's team was working with the Russians, and some of the other allegations. I think, if he wants to understand who paid for it, fine. But I think what was alleged is pretty concerning as to whether the Russians have something on the President of the United States.
You mentioned the dossier. Senator Lindsey Graham actually appeared on Meet the Press and told my colleague Chuck Todd why he wants the DOJ to take a closer look at that firm that put together the infamous Trump dossier. Here's what Graham had to say.
I want a special counsel to look at not only how Mr. Steele conducted himself, what the FBI did with the dossier, whether Mr. Orr, whose wife worked for Fusion GPS alongside Mr. Steele, what involvement did he have in the dossier? And I want to find out if the lead investigator of the Clinton email investigation had a political bias against Trump for Clinton to the point that it was a sham investigation.
This is it's almost an obsession with over the Steele dossier among Republicans.
And then Senator Graham looks like a man possessed. I mean, he was somebody, who I think understood who Donald Trump was when he was candidate Graham. And now to see him just parrot these talking points that you're seeing from Devin Nunes and conservative voices, where it seems like there's no end or no floor of the FBI building that they wouldn't be willing to burn down just to advance the narrative of the president.
Sam Stein, that was your reporting.
Yeah, well, I mean, the bigger picture here is, at least in my estimation, a delegitimizing of the investigative bodies that are looking into Donald Trump. I don't think it's hidden. I think they're doing it in plain sight. But separately from those investigative bodies, there's the committee that you sit on, which is doing its own investigation, which is having its own difficult time trying to come to a valid and agreed upon conclusion. So as you sit here right now, what is the percentage chance you put on your investigation being closed down, put to an end by the majority by the end of the month?
I hope not, but it feels that way. We don't have many witnesses scheduled beyond the next coming days, and there are dozens of witnesses who we should hear from. Also, remember, most of these witnesses, the majority of them, have come in not under subpoena, so a lot of them will just say, "I don't want to answer that."
Sure.
And we have no way to force them to answer.
But what happens if let's say theoretically they do shut it down? They say, "You know what? We're done. We've gone at this for almost a year now. We've gotten to a place where we are comfortable with our conclusions," and you disagree with those conclusions, and the minority disagrees with those conclusions. What powers, if any, do people on the minority, such as yourself, have to make their opinions known or to maybe even counteract that report that they produce?
Well, I know we're united as Democrats under ranking membership to get as much information out as possible, whether it's in a cohesive way or not.
Okay. Congressman Eric Swalwell, thank you so much for coming in tonight. I really appreciate it.